morning from very sunny Spain. My name's Dominique O'Sullivan and I run Dominique Dressage. I thought today I would do a video on sort of the other horses that I have available at the moment. I'm really lucky to have 4 fantastic horses to be able to offer people at very, very good prices. So I thought I'd just do a little update on what I have and who I have and introduce you a little bit to each horse. So here we have Lancera, who looks really up for it. She is a 3.5-year-old Spanish filly, and as you can see, this is her sort of default mode really. She likes to be sleepy. We're just about to do some work. Obviously at this age, she's just been backed, and I will be just sort of, doing age appropriate stuff really. So only riding her a couple of times a week, in between doing a little bit of groundwork, a little bit of lunging, but nothing, obviously too demanding at this age, just enough to sort of get her going so that she's ready and she's done a few of the sort of firsts that people might want to, have out the way when buying a young horse. But sort of personality wise, she is absolute one. She is very affectionate, very sweet, and she does enjoy a lot of affection and cuddles, as you can see. I absolutely adore her. I think she's going to make somebody a really fantastic blank canvas really. She's got super paces. I'll slot in a bit of her sort of recent video, and she has got a lovely walk, so I think she'll be very, very good for the dressage. Super canter, and what's really struck me with her is just the way that she is, to sort of do everything with. She was very good to back. She hasn't given us any, indications that she's not ready or happy with the work. So really, really happy with her. As I said, just doing sort of basics, just the sort of act of actually kind of just getting on and doing little bits just so that she's in the loop of all that. She did have a little bit of time off, here and there, so that, it's not too demanding and she's got time to sort of soak it all in. But she's so laid back that nothing really has fazed her so far, which is lovely. So yeah, we're just going to get on now, do a little 15 minutes, and then she can go back in the field with her pals. She's so sweet. And yeah, so sweet. So we start off usually just a quick limber up on the lunge. She has got side reins ready, but I would always give her a little bit of a sort of walk and trot without them, just to sort of loosen off. Obviously I don't put them tight for this age. It's just a guide really, just to help her learn a little bit about the contact. But she doesn't really need to be lunged, but I think obviously with her age it's important just to let her feel how the tack is and everything still, and just sort of take everything in. I don't mind that she's having a good look round. I think it's all fine, and then usually just get on straight away. So as you can see, I like to get on them from the stirrup initially, just so they're okay with that, and stay still for a little while, give her a good pat there and a good pat behind, just to check that she's not fazed by me, which she isn't. She's a very, very calm horse. And then just a gentle move off. She has naturally taken to having the contact really, really easily, so it is just a case of just sort of holding a light contact and not interfering with her too much. Obviously normally at this age they want to put their heads up a little bit or whatever, but she just naturally kind of seems to put herself where she wants to be, and as you can see, that over tracking walk is absolutely fantastic. Now we're up into trot, and as you can see, she's just very nicely sort of following the hand. She's very forwards naturally, very easy to sort of just keep in a nice little rhythm really. I mean, it's all her. I'm just trying to sit very quietly, very low, soft hands, and sit as balanced as possible, and just give her a good couple of rides, and very much that's it. Walk, trot, canter each way, and back in the stable or field. So, nothing too strenuous at this age, just very, very basic, so that she's got it all there and she's ready, to go forward in life as she is. So that's my little Lancera in a nutshell, and she is priced at 5,500, and she is standing currently at 155 centimetres. So this is my lovely Ingeniosa. She is absolutely beautiful 9-year-old mare. Exceptionally kind, exceptionally easy to do. She's done a bit of sort of jumping and kind of riding club-esque sort of activities in her previous home. She also, I know her full sort of history. She was taken to Romaria's when she was 4, and she actually belonged to a friend of my farrier, so I do know quite a lot about this one. And she's just really, really sweet. As you can see, she's just we've just done a little bit of work, and she's very big. She's probably about, well, I've measured her, I think she's 165 centimetres, so really good full up 16'2", very leggy, and I'm really, really pleased with her. We've just been sort of working on her basics, because if you've been following me, you'll know that she actually arrived quite thin, and so obviously putting on a lot of muscle and just trying to get her, into sort of peak condition and fitness really. And I'd say she's sort of pretty much there now. She's still got a little bit of weight and muscle to go, but I try and do it sort of gradually really, because we don't want to be putting her too full of food and risking any colic or anything like that. So we've just been doing it nice and gently, and I'm really, really pleased with her. She does know a little bit of sort of lateral work and things, so obviously we'll be doing more stuff like that as she gets stronger. But if anybody's looking for just something very uncomplicated, she's not marish, she's very, very sweet, lovely to have around, and gets on with all the other mares and everything. And if you're looking for something that's sort of got more kind of warm blood type paces, then she's more your girl. Plus, as I said, she's very big, so sometimes I get asked for something a bit bigger, and she is a Spanish fusion, so she has got more sort of warm blood type paces, and I'm really, really happy with her, and I think she'll fit in with most people really. As I said, she has got more experience than some of my horses. She's been and done a few things. She's jumped with a younger rider and things like that. Although I haven't jumped, I don't jump anymore. But yeah, so if anybody's sort of looking for a dressage horse, all-rounder type, very good to hack, then she's absolutely fantastic. And she's also very pretty, with such a lovely nature. So I'm absolutely over the moon with her really. So hopefully we can find her a good home before she knocks me out. So I'm really pleased with her trot. When she first came, she was quite sort of choppy in the trot, purely because she didn't have any strength, and also she'd not been ridden much recently. So it's just sort of getting her back into the contact. Obviously most of the time she's worked long and low to try and build up the sort of back. This is a clip from her sales video, her recent video that I've made to show potential new owners. But I'm really pleased with it. The trot is really showing some sort of potential. She's really starting to sort of go underneath herself a little bit and use her hind end more now that she's got more strength, and head carriage becoming a lot easier. In the canter, bless her, she seems to have a trouble with being confident enough to canter like a big horse. She seems to want that. Here they over collect them, usually because of the tack, and to keep the, sort of more comfortable canter for them. So I'm sort of encouraging a bit more of a bigger canter, because I can bring it out and then I can collect it later when it's a little bit more regular, and also that she's got the strength to sort of hold herself up in the canter a little bit, without me sort of needing to sort of help her in the contact so much. So that's really where we're at with her. But as you can see, huge potential for dressage, and just super smart, very elegant, with fantastic, sort of ground coverance, and trotting very much more like a sort of European, sort of Northern European horse. So really, really chuffed with her, and I'm sure somebody will find her an absolute dream to own. So this third horse is Sandokan. You've probably seen him in some of the videos. I'll obviously insert some more video of him being ridden and stuff. Sandokan is a 6-year-old stallion, Lusitano. He's quite small. He's about 154 centimetres. So he's small, but he's really sort of, quite sort of baroque. So he doesn't feel small to ride, and he's actually got quite sort of long ground covering kind of paces, so you don't certainly feel like you're riding anything small. He's quite powerful, being Lusitano. He's got a good sort of back end on him, He's really sweet to sort of train and handle. As everybody knows, I don't tend to take on stallions purely because people don't seem to want them. However, if they are exceptionally quiet like he is, then I would do so, because, you know, some people do like to ride a stallion. It obviously gives you a feel sometimes that, you know, obviously a castrated horse or a mare may not give you. So this one, as I said, I was more than happy to take on. He is an absolute sweetheart, can be stable next to mares, geldings, stallions. He's currently next to my Rubio, who can be a bit of a, you know, dominating sort of stallion, and he just kind of goes about his own business and doesn't worry anybody else. So he'd be ideal really for somebody looking for a small little dressage horse that's really smart, very quiet. He's been to sort of Ron Maria's. He's been exposed to quite a lot of traffic and kind of, you know, busy environments like those sort of Ron Maria's entail. So he's absolutely lovely, and I'll insert some clips of being ridden. Poor boy, getting all these flies. The flies are terrible at this time of year, but hopefully they'll all go soon once we start to get cold temperatures. But he's just absolutely beautiful, so I would just definitely say not one to be missed. With absolutely exceptionally shiny coat. I don't know if you can kind of get that across on the video, but he's a light sort of copper, really beautiful, and as I said, just so easy to have around and to enjoy, really. It's just an absolute sweetheart, aren't you? Hey, he's a good boy. And here he is standing next to the two mares Farandula and Lancera. I think they were even in season, and as you can see, he was more interested in posing for the camera. So as you can see, he moves quite nicely. He covers the ground nicely and efficiently. That tail swishing is just the flies, so don't come at me for, you know, any evasive kind of comments. And he's just very sort of rhythmic and nice, you know, everything's sort of quite nice. Just need to make sure that he is starting to come a little bit more up. He has a tendency to go a little bit low and on the forehand. So using the transitions and sort of lateral work to help sort of engage him a little bit more. But again, that's just lack of use, really. He's not really had sort of proper formal training, and he is only just 6. So the canter's nice and neat and tidy, very comfortable. He does sort of fall out a little bit, so it's just sort of, you know, getting those basics in, that things that perhaps people don't put in as stringently as I would like to. You know, those downward transitions, again, he just sort of flops a little bit on the forehand. So, you know, tidying up all those things that, you know, a client would expect to be in place really before he left. And he does have a good understanding of lateral work. Tend to use lots of mixed up exercises, you know, just to sort of work on the straightness, because they can all go laterally, but whether they can go nicely into your outside hand is a different thing. So sort of working on different sort of exercises to try and get that, so that they don't just fly off your aids and kind of, you know, lose the shoulders and things. So just practicing very basic leg yields and things here. Varying degrees of asking him over and then asking him more straight and things like that. So that will help bring that sort of stuff along and help him carry himself a little bit better as well. Again, he has a good understanding of a bit of shoulder in. You know, you can put him into sort of a bit of shoulder in there, and then when he starts to struggle, I sort of leg yield him back to the track, just to sort of have a little bit more feeling that I can push him where I want him to go and have a bit more sort of flexibility and suppleness in some of this, which he really does enjoy doing. Once you get him supple, he seems to really have a good understanding of it. And I think that's where, you know, you can really probably see some potential for the sort of higher level work, because, you know, I do think that when you've got all that in, he'll go very nicely. He also has great manners in the stable, and as you can see, he seems to be a particular favourite of my partner's. And so the last horse I am going to show you is Farandula. You've probably seen Farandula before. We've had her quite a long time now. I sort of took her on knowing that she needed sort of retraining in her basics. I've done another video, so if you want to see that, you can go back onto my other videos and see her. She has always been one of the safest, loveliest horses to have around and to ride, but unfortunately she was left with quite a lot of tension coming from, as I'd said before in my last video, the kind of Dom of Aquaire attack, and just generally being a bit kind of having her nice temperament taken advantage of a little bit. For example, you know, they put another person riding behind in a massive big dress, and she just would do anything like that because she's safe and she's very, very easy. But I think she held on to a lot of anxiety that those sort of scenarios kind of created. So it just was a shame because it came through in her work, you know, a bit of sort of choppy trot and things like that. And I've made huge headway even since that video. I've actually done another sales video since. So I have got more sort of training of her up-to-date kind of work now. She is just so sweet to be with, to deal with. You can, you know, absolutely be 100% confident with her. She is very forwards. I think that's the only thing. And, you know, I've had some interest. In the early days, I had to kind of be quite guarded about who I could potentially sort of say would be a match for her, because she was very powerful, very strong. Didn't understand really sort of like the half halt and the rein aid. So, you know, it kind of was a bit of a territory where I was just training her, and if the right home came along, and so far the right home hasn't come along. But now I would say that she's more at a place where most people could sort of get along with her, provided obviously you have got a basic good standard of riding. Obviously it wouldn't be a horse for sort of a novice rider or anybody that maybe didn't like the feeling and the power of a sort of, you know, quite forward horse. She doesn't spook, she doesn't spin, she doesn't do anything. If you want to stop, you can always stop, but she does give you that feeling of, you know, huge amounts of power, which I actually really love. I mean, obviously if you're looking for a dressage horse, then that is ideal. You know, you're going to be wanting something that has got the power on the button. And now that obviously the basics have come back in and she's softer and you can put the neck a bit lower, then it's all come together really, really nicely. So I'm really excited to, you know, sort of be able to confidently now say that she is ready to find her sort of her perfect home. But again, as I've said all along, I'm not in any rush. You know, I'm enjoying training her, and obviously the longer that she's with me, the better her training will become. And, you know, my main priority with her is just to find her the right home. All of the others, you can be a bit more kind of, I know that they'll, you know, sort of sell with, you know, anybody in mind really, but this one just does definitely need somebody that can obviously appreciate her power, you know, and enjoy that kind of feeling of forwardness, without kind of, you know, getting tense and tight, because then it will sort of feed into any anxiety that she might have had in times gone by. So, but she's just so sweet, really nice to have around, very quiet. She's the sort that you don't really know that she's there. So just really, really sweet. And I think that she'll go really quite high up in her training. I haven't increased her price much, obviously, from the first sort of training days, because, you know, I put at the price that I thought she was going to be worth once I'd sorted the training out. Obviously if she's with me a long time more in the future and I get the changes in and things like that, then obviously, you know, I'll have to sort of put the price up accordingly. But really for me, I think she'd sort of be better in a home that likes to do maybe a bit of dressage, but maybe not a really seriously competitive home. You know, somebody maybe that's a bit more on the classical thought process. That understands things take a bit longer to sort of get completely, you know, sort of basics in and done. And, oh look, she wants to be on the camera closer. And, you know, just sort of have that kind of patience really. That's all she needs, a bit of patience. But, you know, hacking wise, she hacks beautifully, as you'd expect from a horse that's Romeria, got Romeria experience. She's, you know, absolutely A1 past all tractors and, you know, bikes, everything. She really is. So from that point of view, I think she'd really enjoy, you know, a bit of a sort of varied home, something not too high pressure, and something where she can really bond with her owner like she's bonded with me. And then I think, you know, the world's her oyster. So that's Farandula. You're a good girl. Yes. So some of her trot work, she is quite sort of high need in her actions sort of naturally. So it's just a case of trying to just get her to soften a little bit and take a little bit more ground cover without the speed. Because her hind leg seems to overpower her a little bit in the trot. So doing lots of changes of direction, different sort of counter flexion, inside flexion, just stuff to keep her supple and not, you know, too sort of strong. But she's very light now in the hand, and I'm able now to put the neck lower or higher as I need to, and she understands a little bit more the connection now. And as I said, it will be a slower kind of progression, but it's getting there slowly. And at least now, you know, she feels like she can sort of stay a little bit more connected without such a lot of dipping in the contact and things. So I'm really pleased how she's going at the moment, and she gives a lovely feeling. As we look at the canter is just something else, really like it. It's the sort of canter that makes you feel quite sort of important and smart as a rider, because you can just sit there in a very nice position and do very little. She keeps herself in a fantastic rhythm, very nicely uphill, very collected. You can really feel lovely power coming from behind, and now is becoming a lot softer and lighter in the hand. You know, it's sort of a good contact now. So I'm really pleased with the canter. It's nice and straight. You can get a nice little bend around the inside leg, and that really lovely delivery of the front leg. I do really like it. Well, that's my fabulous 4 horses that I have currently available. If you'd like any more information on any of them, then please do get in touch. And thanks ever so much for watching.